Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. With me, as always, is Morgan.
Hey, what's up?
The U.S. is going through a lot of unrest right now due to the George Floyd death and overall the issue of police treatment of black people. Some fans have been calling for BTS to comment, and this week BTS tweeted a message of support that reads the following, and they posted it in Korean as well as English. We stand against racial discrimination. We condemn violence. You, I, and we all have the right to be respected. We will stand together. And hashtag Black Lives Matter. Big Hit also donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter this week. So I think they did a good job handling what could be a very tricky topic. They have a message that is authentic but isn't overly specific, so people can, take away the message that they want to from this, which is one more of unity and standing against discrimination. I think for a pop group, it's important to not get into too many specifics, because then people will start to kind of look into all the details of that and nitpick different things about it. But I think that was...
Yeah, but people did nitpick it. Not everyone was satisfied with them.
Yeah, but it's hard to craft a perfect message that works for everybody. But I think
right.
the people that were saying, oh, they've been silent, they have to have been satisfied with that.
I would hope most people would be I mean, first of all, even using the word satisfied kind of rubs me the wrong way, because BTS doesn't owe you anything, right? They're free to speak on what they want to speak on. That's great. And it's nice for them to talk about issues that maybe their American fans care about, a lot of their American fans, but they're not obligated to do it. So if you're upset with them that they didn't do it exactly the way you wanted them to do it, I think that's a you problem. I don't think that's a them problem. Americans have this tendency to feel entitled to other people thinking that where our stuff is so important. Keep in mind that this is like an entirely Korean group. Things that are issues for us are not necessarily, that important to them. So they don't have to speak about it. If they do, then that's great. If they don't, then that's also fine. There's lots of stuff going on in the world. And BTS doesn't put out a statement about every single one of them, right? But if it's important to Americans, they have to put out a statement. That feels like kind of an entitled position. I don't think that people in South America talk about, what our struggles in Venezuela or whatever. Mm-hmm. Are they demanding that? I mean, there's lots of struggles going on down there. I'm sure there's lots of BTS fans there too, but they don't, as far as I know, nobody's demanding they have any particular response to any of it. I just feel like those other people are not as entitled as Americans are to view us as the center of the world,
Yeah, I think a lot of people were respecting if they didn't speak, but it's like the people that wanted them to speak were louder, of course. Like those people were demanding or saying why isn't BTS using their platform? It's like they don't have to use their platform. Like their platform is
right.
Making music. It's not about talking about...
Or they didn't like how vaguely
issue.
It was worded. Well, these sort of statements they tend to be worded vaguely because they're written by PR people. They're not written by BTS. They're written by PR people at the company mm-hmm. for business purposes. They realize, this is important to a market that we want to tap. Maybe we should... I'm sorry to burst your bubble. This is how it works, right? There's businesses and they have PR departments and they make decisions and they inform decision makers. And a lot of these things, they're not purely, but a lot of it is business driven. And that's not to say that's a negative thing either. I mean, a lot of the things, the vast majority of companies you see right now putting out a Black Lives Matter thing, that's purely business driven.
Yeah.
Look at the companies that put out those sorts of statements, and then they don't put out any statement in their Saudi Arabia arm or their Chinese arm, right? They change their statement based on what plays best with that buying public because they're businesses. Here it plays. In a lot of places it plays. So this is the message they give. Where it doesn't play, they don't have that message. Why? Because it's not about the principle of it. It's about the business of it. And if that upsets you, I'm sorry for bringing the real world in. I mean, this is just the way it is. It doesn't mean that I think these businesses are evil either. Sometimes they give money to good causes just based out of pure self-interest. And I mean, money is money. If you think the cause is positive, then that's still a good thing. When was the last time Maroon 5 talked about issues that really concern Koreans, like mandatory enlistment and stuff? Ask yourself that question.
Right.
I mean, it's just something simple like that, right? Or what's an issue that affects Koreans? Like women getting filmed in bathrooms and things like that, right?
That's North Korea, I guess.
Right. When was the last time Maroon 5 put out a statement and donated money for these sorts of things? And when was the last time South Koreans demanded it on Twitter? So ask yourself, how would you look at that if some South Korean Twitter fans were like, Maroon 5, why are you not speaking on this topic? Well, I mean, is it a worthy topic? Sure, maybe. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't, but let's be realistic. Maroon 5 is an American group. They don't know about all the stuff going on in South Korea, and they can't be faulted for not either knowing or necessarily even caring. It doesn't mean they're bad people. I'm sure if you sat down and talked to them about it at length, they might start caring about it. But it's just, there's a lot of things going on. People don't care about everything. Now, a lot of artists in K-pop have made a statement, but this is because America is important. America's big, right? Our media is so dominant. When something happens here, everybody around the world knows it just because we're an important, powerful country. So, but that doesn't mean we're owed anything. I think people get that confused a lot. We're really not owed anything from these other countries and people from these countries. So when they do something, no matter how vague, just be appreciative of it. That's good. They support whatever.
I think the BTS members, I'm sure they heard about it and they're probably very sympathetic. But I think the only reason that a statement was put out and a donation was made is because they recognize the U.S. is a market they need to care about. And probably now they've gotten the idea that, U.S. pop stars, they always speak up when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it sucks because I think they're getting the wrong message because I don't think pop stars should always speak up on current events or politics.
Well, I mean, as a pure business decision, they are right? And this is sort of the expectation if they want to be U.S. pop stars, which they obviously do. They want to be global.
Yeah, I think that's why they said it, and not necessarily because they were feeling like they should have.
I won't assume that necessarily. I'm sure it was some kind of combination of, okay, the company said it was good business, and maybe some of the members did say, oh yeah, this is something we care about. We don't know. I'm not in that building, okay? It's maybe some combination, but it certainly is a combination at the very least. It's not, it's just due to the kindness of their heart. No, there's a business element to it.
I just think it's U.S. consumers being so demanding of businesses and artists they follow. It's like, I demand that you speak up on X issue all the time. And it's like, this is not a good trend overall. So I think they just knew, like, this is what people in the U.S. expect from their artists, so we will do that too. I mean, not that they weren't feeling genuine about it. I'm just saying, like, maybe normally they would have held back because, they're in Korea. Maybe they didn't feel like they should speak up on U.S. issues or not. But I think just the fact that they're global artists now, they feel like, that's what U.S. consumers expect out of you, so we'll
it seems
do
a
it.
logical assumption. It is an expectation of U.S. artists now, so they're probably thinking, well, we want to be U.S. artists. We are. We tour there, we sell there, so we should behave like it. And this is sort of the expectation.
And what I did notice is the other K-pop groups and artists that spoke up, they're also the ones that are very present in the U.S. So I think that was the same motivation for them. The ones that tweeted and donated and stuff, it was like Monsta X and ATEEZ, J Park, Eric Nam, and Mark
makes
from
sense.
GOT7. So it's like, not only was it like the more international or US based groups, but it was like only males too. I didn't see any girl groups saying anything. So I just thought that was interesting. It's like, I don't think in Korea they look at the female groups as speaking out on stuff like that.
Right. It might be a cultural thing. Well, again, it's business. It doesn't mean that it's evil, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be appreciative of it, and it doesn't mean that there's no component of it that it's the artist genuinely caring about an issue. And there's nothing evil about donating money to a thing, and there's nothing particularly evil about having an ad campaign. So who cares? It's fine. But still, open your eyes. Don't be bamboozled and just think, don't look at it uncritically, is what I'm saying. There is a pragmatic component to it when a business does something like this, And I could bring out a lot of examples. I won't bother. That's really not the place for it, but it's true. There's a pragmatic business motivation component to this sort of thing. In this case, there's one, sure. But I thought their statement was fine. I thought it was good that they showed support for an American cause that probably some or most of their members do actually care about. I can't see anybody complaining about it. If you're complaining about it, you're the only one who's wrong here because you're not owed anything. That's my point. You're not owed anything. So that they did anything, I think it's positive.
Yeah. And BTS works really hard to have a positive image and not say anything that can be taken the wrong way. So I think they were really careful with what they said and what they did this week.
Right. If you thought that they were going to blast out some kind of Twitter post, like a word for word repost of like a Sean King Twitter post, I mean, your expectations are just out of whack. Okay. It's just not realistic. I'm sorry. They did something that, you know, the perfect midpoint between business interests and maybe even personal interests, and all those motivations mixed together, which they have to be. They all have to work as one. It's not just BTS does anything it wants, and it's not just Big Hit does anything it wants. It has to be everybody there on the same page, right? And this is what you got: a very generic tweet of support and a donation. You can't complain.
I just think as fans, we need to be really careful about all these things that we're demanding of, you know, K-pop stars. Like, this is just like more pressure on them. If you're wanting them to have the exact same, you know, message that you want to have, it's like, it's your activism. If you want to be an activist about something, then go ahead and do that in your life. But don't assume that your K-pop stars have to do the exact same thing.
Right. It shows, it shows it's sort of a deep-rooted ethnocentrism too. Because, I mean, real talk, speaking bluntly, which is, you know, what I'm used to doing anyway, a South Korean just tends to not care about these issues. These are American issues, right? There's just not, you know, big on their mind. They have their own issues. I'm sure they care about them. This is just way down the list. That's not to say they don't care. Just like when we read news stories about what's happening in a faraway country and it's negative, or it looks like definitely it's a problem and it needs to be fixed. Sure, we'll say, yeah, that's bad. Somebody should fix that. But it's not the same. We don't care about it the same way we care about something next door, right? We don't care about it the same way we care about something that's happening in our country. And that's just human nature. It doesn't make them bad people. And for us to have this expectation of them is ethnocentric. It's sort of saying you got to care about everything in America, just like Americans care about it. No. I mean, they may care, but you have to look at it with that same perspective. You have to keep it in perspective. They care about it in the same way you care about the one time you read about something happening in Zimbabwe, right? You're like, oh, that's too bad. I hope somebody fixes that.
Yeah.
That's how they look at it. That's how they look at your problems in America, okay? Since America is so important and central and, you know, other countries get our news, they tend to care about our stuff maybe more than, you know, you would care about something in some obscure country. They already care about it more, right? So asking for even more just seems really entitled and ethnocentric.
Yeah, and sometimes when you speak up and it's not your issue, people tell you it's like, well, you're taking up space of the other voices that need to be heard. You know, it's like tricky. If they speak up too much or they do too much, then you get attacked for that too. It's like you're dominating the space.
Yeah. Anyway, they did the right amount. You should appreciate what the money they donated and the thoughts they had. You know, this is an issue you care about. Boom. They just said they care about it too. And they put their money where their mouth is as well. What complaint could you have? I did see some complaints. Online, you're always going to have some stupid people say some stupid stuff.
Yeah. The other thing that was happening this week is there was a lot of social media activity and people on Twitter, people on Instagram or whatever. And then I don't know why this was being a hashtag, but there was a White Lives Matter hashtag. And apparently K-pop fans caught wind of that. And then they started flooding the hashtag with fan cams and kind of like suppressing whatever was being said on that hashtag. A lot of people were appreciative that they were doing that. However, I don't think this is a good thing overall for K-pop fans and fan cams, because people already think they're annoying and then they just use it in an annoying way again. So that's kind of just furthering that idea.
Well, I mean, yes. I didn't think that it was let's just put it this way. Why are we giving credit to K-pop stans posting fan cams everywhere when that's what they do anyway? That's what they do to everything anyway. Any popular hashtag, they're just in it with other fan cams burying all the real content, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're going to give them credit. And furthermore, I think this sort of backfired because I woke up that day and White Lives Matter was trending with like a gigantic number. Now, I didn't click on it because it's not necessarily a topic I want to read about. So I just figured, well, I guess a lot of people want to talk about White Lives Matter. No, the only reason why the number was that big is because K-pop stans were inflating it. But I didn't know that. I just saw the number in the trending. That's
true. So that made it look like people were supporting what that hashtag was.
Maybe I wouldn't even seen that hashtag If not for you. If not
Yeah,
for
they should have
you.
just let it die.
Would it have had the number? I don't know what number it went to, like 170,000 or something like that.
It couldn't have been that many.
No, it was pretty high. But I think it backfired because all that happened was I saw in the trending, like, oh, okay, that's trending, weird. I didn't click on it, and I didn't bother to investigate what the K-pop fans were doing to it. And also, even if I clicked on it and I saw a bunch of fan cams, I wouldn't say, oh, good, a concerted effort by K-pop stans to bury this topic. First of all, I don't ever think that's good, okay? I don't think that's good when you bury any topic. And it doesn't matter whether the topic is good or bad or whatever. Let the topic be whatever it is, right? A topic should be its own thing.
Yeah.
If it's full of hateful stuff, then okay, let the people who are hateful show who they are, right? And if you want to read that stuff, then okay, there it is. You can see who the hateful people are. I don't want to flip. It's just irritating to flip through fan cams.
What if you were curious, like, what are these people talking about?
Right.
Like, not even to support them, but just to see what are they talking about?
Yeah, you're not helping anything. This whole idea that we suppressed all the white supremacists. Okay, so do you think that you making it difficult to scroll through that hashtag prevented a single person from becoming a white supremacist? Do you really think that? Because let's be honest, that's all it does. When you say suppress, all it means is it takes longer to scroll through, which is irritating in every single situation. When you do it with other topics and their reasoning, they just want to post their fan cams, right? I'm irritated every single time because pictures are big and they take a long time to load. And if you're not on Wi-Fi or whatever, it might slow you down, right? So you're making it harder to read those viewpoints. So now, there's going to be less of them. What are you talking about? Anybody who's motivated to be one and look at that topic like sincerely for, white supremacist material, flipping through your fan cam stuff is not going to prevent them from having those views, okay?
They might have prevented people from just seeing what they're all about and rejecting that. It's like you need to see other points of view if you're going to reject it.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention whatever day that was happening, but I would have been, if I was curious and wanted to see, well, okay, what is this hashtag all about? You couldn't find it. Festa Week continues with, on June 3rd, there was a choreography video for Dionysus, and on June 4th was a photo collection, and then June 5th, there was a release for a song called Still With You by Jungkook. I was surprised to find out it was his first solo song. He never had a solo before, other than what was on BTS albums. So that was released on SoundCloud. And it always bugs me when there's stuff only released on SoundCloud because that's the only place you can get to it. You can't listen on Spotify and add it to playlists or anything. So that's kind of a hassle. But
did you like it?
I liked the song. It had kind of a cafe sound. It had like jazzy piano style, which I don't necessarily expect from Jungkook, but it kind of reminded me of like IU kind of music. The song is about missing someone and believing in being together, and basically had dedicated it to ARMY and like missing ARMY and all that. So I thought the song was pretty good. I would listen to it, but maybe not that much because I'm not on SoundCloud, like hardly ever unless I'm on a computer. So, but I thought it was a good song, and it was like a nice thing to release during Festa.
Yeah. I listened to a little bit of it. It's a good song. It is a cafe song, like you said. That means it's not too remarkable, but it doesn't need to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, his voice is good. It was a good song. I would add it to a playlist if I could, if it was on Spotify, but otherwise...
Yeah, I'm not listening on Spotify stuff.
I'll just listen to it every now and then. And I wish they would do something with the SoundCloud songs, because there's like other good songs that are on there that I would add to a playlist too, like Jimin songs or Jin songs, which are on there, Promise. But that's how they want to do it. That's fine. But I guess you need to have a solo account on all of these music things. And unless you release an album, then you're not a solo person. So I don't know how that works, but that's why. So in my notes, I have this written down called the Jin Conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
This is where some people were on Google and they were trying to look up the BTS members, and they found out the other day, like if you Google BTS members, that you don't see Jin as listed as one of the members. You know how it shows that like each has a little picture and it's like, here's this person, is their name.
I've Googled not BTS members, but well, I probably did that once in the past. Well, anytime there's a K-pop group, I'll Google that because I don't know the members and I can't tell the difference between any of them. I'm sorry. It's really hard to tell the difference for like a full 3 months. And then we'll list their names and stuff.
Yeah, Google didn't always have that handy thing where if you Google a group or a person and it shows like that little profile at the top.
I could have sworn it always did.
Well, it used to be like you just get the, whatever websites. It didn't have necessarily all these little like handy profile pictures that Google had set up.
Oh.
Like they set up, that's a whole separate thing, I think. But I guess recently this week people noticed like if you Google the BTS members, it wasn't showing Jin. And people were like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Is he like not in BTS anymore? Or like, is he kicked out? Or is he going to the military now? So we don't know exactly why Google took it down, but there's a lot of theories about that. People had paid Google to remove Jin's picture to cause disunity within BTS.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if that would be the purpose, but I think probably more likely is like Antis had been reporting something as, because like if you can contact Google to correct things that are not right in their Google search, and probably if enough people do that, then Google will be like, oh, okay, I guess that's true, then we will remove him.
I have no idea how that works because I've never reported anything on
Google. I don't know either, but I'm sure this comes up when it's like, okay, who's in Momoland now? And if you Google it, you probably want the exact number of people that are still there, or like the the right people. So, and I'm sure Google is just gonna like take people's word for it. If like enough people are like, hey, so and so is no longer in that group anymore. Oh, okay, we'll correct that. So it does seem like maybe there's a mass reporting thing going on, like with the Antis, and then trying to cause some issues with BTS fans. I don't know what else would be the explanation for that.
I have no idea. Since I don't know how this type of thing would be removed, I can only speculate. I don't know. My first question is, why are people Googling BTS members? Because I'm assuming that these are fans, right? These are fans that get upset. What fan is needing to Google BTS members? Do you remember them, right? Do you just Google them every day just to be sure that Google has not fucked it up or something? What is it you're Googling them for? I don't understand.
It could be you have friends that you're introducing to BTS. So you tell them, hey, go Google BTS, and then it will tell you. And then your friend who's new to BTS is like, hey, there's 6 members. I thought you said there were 7.
Right.
Maybe someone told someone else, and then it was like, oh, wait, let me check that.
Right.
So I don't know.
And this idea that anybody... Because there was speculation that people were being paid to remove it. I don't think Google's taking a payment to remove anything. Probably some mass reporting or, maybe the most obvious answer is just someone just made a mistake somewhere. There's nothing insidious about it.
Yeah.
And also, some people were speculating, does this mean that he's leaving? They're breaking up? Why would Google have this information first?
No, they wouldn't.
Do you think that the neural network, the internet, has become like this mesh neural network that has gained sentience or something and just knows things before even human beings know them? Because these are the only 2 explanations. Either for whatever reason, Big Hit tells Google first, or the internet, the neural, some sort of neural network has gained sentience or something, and it just sort of knows stuff before even we know it. No.
We're not that advanced yet. No, but you know how sometimes you'll get targeted ads for stuff and you don't know why you're getting it because you didn't tell anyone.
Right, because the algorithms are smarter than you. I understand, but yeah, it's not there yet. Just trust me.
Yeah, this is not that, but that sometimes happens though.
It does happen, and at some point the algorithms will be smarter than human beings and they will know what's going to happen in your life before you know it. But that's a future we don't need to talk about. That's not what happened here. Probably most likely there's just a mistake over there. But I do like the drama. I do like how people were speculating that XOLs, is that how you pronounce it? XOLs were behind all this.
Mm-hmm.
Mass reporting it. Now, if I tend to doubt that, what do they have to gain by mass reporting Jin's? And that's the other thing. The speculation I saw was XOLs are trying to mass report it. And then if Google removes his name, this will sow discord and maybe cause them to break up. Why would they break up? Because his name was removed from the Google. Remember what I said before about why are you looking up BTS members? Why are you searching that? I know for damn sure that BTS is not looking at BTS members. They're not typing it in saying, hey guys, I forgot how many members we have and what our names were. Let's look it up. And then Jin wasn't there one day and they said, oh, that's weird. Maybe we should break up.
They see him every day. They're going to be like, wait, I thought you weren't in the group. You're not on Google anymore.
Right.
They like live in the next room.
I was like, we worked together for 10 hours straight today, but I didn't see your name on this Google search, so maybe we should break up. Is that the logic that is being bandied about here? I mean, I understand that BTS fans, ARMY, they don't really think much of XOL intelligence, but I don't think, first of all, I don't think they're any smarter or dumber than the average person. But even if they were really, really stupid, I can't imagine that they would believe that this tactic would succeed in breaking up BTS.
They think if someone's going to leave the group, they're going to like whisk away in the middle of the night and not tell the other members. Like, okay, if he was going to leave the group, they would have known a long time ago.
But why would that
Google.
sow discord that the search doesn't have your name now? Now, I don't want to give XOLs any ideas, but if you actually wanted to sow discord, what you really need to do is you need to go to like Korean news gossip places and maybe get somebody to print a story about somebody getting more money than the other person or getting preferential treatment or something like that, or having a side deal or something like, you need to sow those kinds of seeds of discontent to pit them against each other. That's how you actually sow discord. Okay? Not, oh, your name isn't in this Google search that we wouldn't ever search anyway in the first place. How would that sow discord? It wouldn't.
On May 27th, the Korean Exchange revealed that Big Hit has officially filed for their IPO. They didn't say what the size and scope or what date that's going to happen, but people are saying that Big Hit hopes to raise $1 billion US through the IPO. Big Hit isn't a public company yet, and they've been rumored to go public for a couple of years now, and they had delayed it because of coronavirus. Obviously, it's like suppressing the economy everywhere, so they delayed it. But I guess whenever it's going to happen, it's going to be sometime this year, and I think that's a good time to plan it because the economy is just starting to recover, especially South Korea, which just is. They're past coronavirus already. They're in recovery mode. And I guess now it's time to get back to normal business, which is pretty amazing because Big Hit grew from a very small company. And then now they're going to have this big IPO this year with how much money they've made from BTS mostly. So that's pretty impressive. They'll probably get a really good price because I think the economy is going to be growing a lot now after coronavirus was suppressing everything. So this is probably a good time to get it back on track, and then before they go back on tour and start making even more money. So I think this is a good time for that.
They just want to raise $1 billion? That's not even that much money, honestly. Is that what they want?
This they're hoping, but it's like, yeah, I feel like they could have aimed higher than that, but maybe, I don't know where they're getting that estimate from. Especially now that Big Hit has acquired like multiple other companies, and then they have like several groups under their label. So it seems like, everybody's going to want to buy some shares of Big Hit.
I'm just trying to look at market cap of SM.
Because all the other K-pop companies, they're already public. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Big Hit is just the one who was waiting for their
I mean, if you really want to grow, you have to go public generally.
Yeah. You have to have shareholders and a lot of people buying shares of your company.
You needed this infusion of capital. That's what an IPO. It's an infusion of capital, and then they can use that money to grow. But that seems, it's hard to say.
Maybe they don't want to have a high expectation and then fall short of that. But yeah, I definitely think they could get at least $1 billion.
Well, it's hard to say. I forget what the market cap is of the other companies. Does it say here market cap of SM is only 500 million?
Oh, so they're trying to exceed SM then.
Oh no, this is why am I not able to find this information? That's just ridiculous. Anyway, this is a very perfunctory thing. They have to go public in order to generate the capital to grow fast. It's not the type of company where you want to just grow organically, slowly. So yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, this article says Bang PD owns 45.1% of the equity in Big Hit Entertainment. Is that a lot for one person? Is he like the Bill Gates of Big Hit?
Yes, that's a lot.
Wow. So he'll make a lot, Bang PD, if this makes at least $1 billion. So, well, that's good. I mean, he started it, so he deserves making a lot of money out of it. A related story is people are noticing that Dispatch has erased all their posts and stories about BTS on Instagram. So if you don't know who Dispatch is, they're basically a news organization similar to TMZ in Korea, and they report on all sorts of things, and people seem to think they had a relationship with Big Hit as far as like, oh, we won't report negative stories on you guys, and in return for we can get some exclusive photo shoots and stuff like that. So I mean, that was never confirmed, but that is kind of what people think, because there never seemed to be any hit pieces on BTS. But I mean, that could be that they're just not scandalous, so it's hard to say like why that was. So Dispatch has erased a lot of BTS out of their Instagram page and photos and highlights, which used to be like really highlighting BTS. Like they used to have a V as their cover picture, and they would feature them a lot.
And they just deleted it.
Yeah, but lately they had been reporting on a lot of BTS gossip stories, like negative stories. Like they were one of the people reporting about the Itaewon thing with Jungkook and the Suga Jim Jones thing. So they were one of the outlets reporting all of that. So people were like, oh, did they decide to like turn on Big Hit now, or what's going on with that? And there's kind of a conspiracy theory that Dispatch doesn't have a deal with Big Hit anymore, and maybe they're working with some of the other K-pop companies to help kind of like take down Big Hit and make it so that their IPO doesn't succeed as much. Like if you put out enough negative stories about BTS, then people might be like, oh, well, I don't want to invest in Big Hit then because they're controversial or whatever. So I don't know. Who knows what's going on, really?
I feel like there might be some falling out between those two, if there was even a relationship. That's not established to be true. But this idea that the other companies are trying to sabotage Big Hit, I'm not sure that's true either, because let's just put it this way. As a industry, K-pop, its growth sector is international. Right? They've maximized everything in Korea. Being number one in Korea is good. If you can get more of a market share in Korea than the other companies, that's good. You'll make more money. But it seems like the big three, and I guess you can call them big four now, Big Hit's going to be part of it, they all acknowledge, and based on their actions, you can tell that they think a lot of their growth, a lot of where they can make more money is international. In that sense, they're not competing with each other. The growth of K-pop and K-pop getting a foothold in foreign markets is good for all of them. Right? If BTS becomes successful and makes it more common for American audiences to listen to K-pop, that's good for YG, that's good for SM, that's good for JYP. Their competition is not Big Hit. Their competition is Warner Brothers. Their competition is all the Western artists, right?
Right.
They're trying to compete with these more traditional Western acts for the Western audience. Big Hit is helping you because they are, they're getting that foothold in a foreign market. Now, if the foreign market was already saturated with K-pop, then yes, you're fighting with other K-pop labels for supremacy. You need to beat them. You want people to listen to your artists and not the other label's artists, right? But that's not the stage they're at. The stage they're at is opening up those markets. How many people do you know were BTS fans and they only knew BTS because they were the fad, the trendy thing? A lot of people, it's okay to admit, like you just listen to them because you heard a lot of people were talking about it, and you just listened to it and it's like, oh, this sounds good, and it was a fad maybe, and you weren't going to listen to it for the rest of your life, but then that caused you to investigate other K-pop, and oh, now you like other K-pop. Well, there you go. That's an example of how them getting a foothold in a foreign market is beneficial to other labels. So I don't think that other labels are trying to sabotage Big Hit's IPO necessarily. Hopefully not, because that's dumb. Especially since Big Hit is not, quote-unquote, dominating the Korean market anyway. We know that in the Korean market, SM is still number one, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't need to fight over that. Plus, that market is saturated. The smart money is to expand outwards, and that's what they're all trying to do. So, yeah, I don't think that they're trying to sabotage, and I don't think it's a smart thing to do that.
Yeah, I think that was just speculation, but it doesn't seem like the leaders of the big labels are all cutthroat towards each other. I don't see JYP doing that. I think he just focuses on his own groups. And YG, they're probably like really busy with all their legal issues and trying to get Blackpink, going, and Big Bang. And
Seems
I
unlikely.
don't really know about the SM people, but it just seems like who has time to attack some other label? And it's not a zero-sum game. Like you said, it's like they could all succeed. If one succeeds, more of them could succeed in the U.S.
It's not a zero-sum game at the moment, no. Because there's this large growth market for them to tap, right? There are zero-sum environments where you do have to destroy your competitors to succeed. Like, I guess you could argue that Coke and Pepsi are a zero-sum game right now.
Right.
Right? I mean,
drink one or the other.
every amount of business that Pepsi gets has to come from Coke.
Right.
Because they're in every single market, and the two dominate every market. So the only way for you to grow is for the other to recede. That's not the way it is with K-pop. Not even close.
Yeah.
So they're all focused on growing and entering foreign markets. And let's be honest, BTS is number one right at the moment in opening foreign markets. So they should all view that as a positive thing.
Thank you to our guest, Morgan. You can find BTS Happy Hour on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, CastBox, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. New episodes weekly. Please comment, leave a review, or rate wherever you are listening to the podcast. Follow us on Facebook. Search for BTS Happy Hour Podcast. Follow us on Twitter @OurBTS. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.